Now we come to one of my favorite parts of the show, Quilt of the Week, where we honor the very best in quilt making. And today we have a 2-for-1. Sisters Sue Nichols and Pat Holly are here from Ann Arbor and Muskegon, Michigan. But we're going to talk about this quilt called New York State of Mind. Tell me about the idea behind this quilt.
Well, this quilt was part of a very interesting project. Rod Buffington, a watercolor artist, invited 18 quilters to make a quilt, and then he made a companion painting to go along with it. So Pat and I came up with the New York beauty block, and we sent him a line drawing for that with the fabrics that we were using, so he'd have the color scheme. And he then worked on his painting, and Pat and I worked on our quilt collaboration. They came together in an exhibit called Double Vision Companions and Choices, and it was the first time we saw the quilts and the painting side by side, and it was a wonderful concept.
But the two of you live 170 miles apart, don't you? How do you quilt together?
Well, Gina, you might think it's difficult for two people to work on the same quilt at the same time. And the way we do that is to divide up the different parts of that quilt. We both love designing, so we'll get together and do that. And we also both like to machine applique. So we'll design those blocks. Sue will take hers home and work on hers. I'll work on mine. I like to do the precision machine piecing. Then we'll get back together and put the blocks together, base the quilt. Sue will take it to her house and do her fabulous machine quilting. And depending on the schedule, sometimes I then take it back and put the binding on. So that's how two people work on a quilt together.
Well, it is lovely. Well, tell me what you're working on next. What's your next project?
Well, we just finished a major collaboration called the Space Quilt, which is a theme-based quilt on the history of NASA, and it took us about 2 years to complete, so now we are...
Well, now we're trying to come up with the idea for our next project. And the way that works is Sue will come up with a couple of ideas, I will come up with things, but we both have to really get excited about the idea before we'll start on the project.
Well, it all sounds really interesting. Thanks so much, Sue and Pat, for being with us today.